So I have to do an honorable mention because Dyson Daniels was originally on my list. I thought he was good. I thought he was a great player. He is leading the league in steals by an entire steal. I think he's 3 steals a game, 3 flat. So I wanted to watch some highlights. Obviously, I'm not watching Hawks games every night of the week or every night that they're on. So I want to see, is this guy that good? And I'll say, and I'm going to make this point later, probably the best single defender in the league. He is a dog. You ever watch because you're kind of far away from the action when you're watching, because you always have the single, cam that goes back and forth, and you're really only getting close-ups when there's a highlight. The other player will just lose control of the ball. The ball will just be gone when he's guarding them. It'll just start flying across the court just because he poked it. It kind of shows you what a basketball player is capable of if he is that vigilant on defense, because most defenders aren't. I do think a lot of the times in the NBA or in any sport really, it comes down to effort. And I think you ever play pickup basketball and you're just kind of playing, you don't really know anyone, or maybe you're not that comfortable with the guys, so you're really not playing defense that hard. You're just trying to feel out what's the vibe. Is everyone going hard? Are we going ham? And then there's one guy who just plays hard defense. And your first reaction is, whoa, hey man, we're just getting some exercise here. And then he does it and you realize, well, if he's gonna do that, we can't compete if he's gonna go that hard on defense. So you all start playing hard defense. Dyson Daniels is that guy, because I do think, you're playing 82 games a season. You're going to get complacent. You're going to have this unspoken agreement between you and the other team saying, hey, let's take it easy on, this side of the court. Let's not do a full court press. Let's not get any 8-second calls. Let's feel the sound a bit. We'll save you energy if you save us energy. Not the case with Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels is that guy. And with 13.9 points per game, I thought, hey, I'm going to put him on my list because that's a decent offensive performance. I was going to have him 10, but no. Dude, his free throw percentage is 61%. His three-point percentage isn't terrible, but his offensive rating was atrocious. It was absolutely terrible. Plus minus, worst on the Hawks, negative 2.8. His offensive rating, though, was wildly brutal. Again, a lot of your defensive rating, your offensive rating is heavily contingent on your team entirely, but he seems to be, according to stats, again, they don't tell you the whole picture, but man, it was bad. So when I'm going through and watching all this guy's highlights, I can't really judge him by these highlights. I have to mix in the data too, because I'm not watching every game. And man, he is just not that great of an offensive player. I hate to say it. I can't do it. Especially with a 61% free throw percentage. Practice your free throws. So, best defensive rating on the Hawks. He is the focal point of their defense, but then the weakest link on their offense. I hate to say it. Isaiah Joe, for reference, just so you know, sort of a baseline defensive rating. I think defensive rating is in a game. I think it's per 100 possessions. It should just be in a 48-minute period of time. A lot of times we'll do per 36. It should be per 48 minutes. What's this player or this team's offensive defensive rating? But it's per 100 possessions. So the other team, you want a low defensive rating. If I've explained this once, I've explained it 100 times. So you want a low defensive rating. Best defensive rating in the league is Isaiah Joe. Take it for what it's worth. Again, the top defensive rating, all the players with the top defensive ratings in the league, all 5, Oklahoma City Thunder guys. It's a team sport, man. So that's why I had to put him in the honorable mentions, just because he's such a great defender. Relatively low turnovers too. Anyway, this is two-way players. So, moving on. Tatum. I put him on here. I put him on here because he was a beast in the playoffs last year. Okay? I had to. And it's two-way player, so I have to give him credit for being a good offensive player. And he is. And he did a great job on defense last year. So he is in this. He is in this. And he has 49th best defensive rating. It's in red. It's in red because it's good, but it's not great. It's not exceptional. 4th best defensive rating on the Celtics. Again, he's doing most of the offensive work, and he does always guard the worst player on the other team. I noticed. I did it. I went back. I watched. Dude, he has and he doesn't do that much help, but he is capable of being a great defensive player. So what am I going to do? What am I going to discredit him? Because he has Derek White on his team. He's got Drew Holiday on his team covering. I'm not, because the playoffs are going to come around again. And he's going to take some very difficult defensive assignments. Sorry, I burped. It was a little gross burp. But I had to. I'm not a fan of Jason Tatum. He's one of my least favorite players, both to watch and personality-wise. And he's about to do a post-game interview. I might switch over to Crunch Time on League Pass. I might swap over. I might go see if the Kings are winning. Kings are always the last game on League Pass. They're the last team to play. I think the reason they're the last team to play is because they're a West Coast team, obviously, and it's either Portland or it's the Kings. It's probably the least popular teams on the West Coast that are getting the last slot. East Coast people are not watching Kings games. That's for sure. So he's getting a lot of steals, but he never guards a good player. He's sort of the help guy. But again, he's a good defender and he's a good offender. He's a good two-way player. Argue with me. Comment. I won't even have a rebuttal, but I'll acknowledge you, and I'll let you know I read it. So, did I have one more note? He's going to be good in the playoffs. I already said it. Ivica Zubac, I have to put him on here. 15.3, points per game. He's having a good offensive season. I wanted to look into this because I had heard people saying, man, Zubac getting his offensive game. He can thank James Harden for that. He is doing really well in the pick and roll. He can dribble. He is not Jonas Valanciunas. This guy can get in there and he can get some serious dunks. Because if you want to get some serious dunks, you got to be able to dribble. If you want to get that much power, you're going to have to come in from the free throw line. And he is playing really well in the pick and roll. I am disappointed about the amount of lobs we're seeing from Ivica. He is perfect for lobs. He's huge. He's open all the time. But you never see any lobs from this guy. I didn't, and I did a lot of research. At first I thought I'd seen some, and then I went back because I did research for this. I didn't take any notes. I thought I would remember, and something came up. And I had to come back to it, and I forgot everything. I forgot everything because I didn't write it down. Write down everything. So, he's a good player, but he's slow. He's slow on defense. He's slow side to side. He's a great rim protector, but he is slow. You gotta, I have to say, he screen assists. He sets a lot of screens. Again, pick and roll guy. Contested shots, he's top 10. He gets a hand up. Again, I do think contested shots, I'm starting to get a little bit weary of contested shots. Weary and leery. Because I'm starting to think that maybe they're not all they're cracked up to be. Getting a hand up. Getting in someone's face. On the other hand, boxing out. Zubac will box out. He's a dirty work king. So 10th in defensive win shares. Basically, what defensive win shares are, it is a stat that tries to attribute to a player what their portion of the win was based on their defense in the game. What is the formula? I don't know. A lot of people do not like this stat, but I put it on here for your benefit. What do you think of defensive win shares? Do you know anything about it? I don't know. 14th best defensive rating in the league, meaning when he's on the court, the other team is scoring 106.4 points based on 100 possessions. It's pretty good. He's a great defender. He is. He's one of the best rim protectors in the league. Again, not fast side to side, but he can come over and help, and he commits to it. It's a lot of effort. Again, defense is a lot of effort, and he's doing really great in the pick and roll. He cracked it. He beat Jason Tatum. He did. Third in rebounds, too. Maybe that's why. Defense are really neither. I mean, their offense and you don't really think of a guy that makes a lot of offensive rebounds as a great offensive player, though, do you? You know, he's like, oh, he's so just like the offensive ability to pull down rebounds. You wouldn't say it like that. rebounds sort of exist on their own, sort of like the special team stat. Being a great rebounder is neither offense nor defense, but somehow it's both. Suggs. All right, so Suggs is not an awesome offensive player because when you look at offensive highlights, he's very athletic. He reminds me of Caruso a lot in his athleticism and his speed. Does a lot of dunks, comes down the court quick, catches lobs, and does a lot of chase down blocks. So he has a real offensive ability in that sense. But shooting wise, 31% from three, and he's shooting 6.9 a game. Orlando Magic, they put up threes. They don't care. They're not insecure about their ability to shoot threes. We do not have a great three-point percentage, but we're still going to put up threes like every other team in the league. I don't hate it. So it's funny when you watch highlights of a player and all their highlights are threes, it doesn't really matter because you're just watching them nail threes. You don't know how many they've missed. So I don't think, unless it's a crazy catch and shoot three, maybe a hand in the face or something, it's not really a highlight. If a guy just catches a three and shoots it and it goes in, you need the context of how many he's missed to really appreciate that highlight, right? Because you see that a lot with Jalen Suggs, him catching the ball and shooting it, making a three. Then you look at his stats and you're like, well, he missed a lot before that. Anyway, but he is one of the best wing guards in the league. Cuts off a lot of passing lanes. And if you're fast, you're quick, you cut off passing lanes, that means you're getting a lot of fast breaks, which Jalen Suggs does. And he executes on those. And we get cool dunks. I like cool dunks. I like dunks. I also like threes. So I think that's all I have for notes on him. So Jalen Williams, only 6'5". I could not believe that. He was playing center. Remember that interview with Shea and Jalen Williams, and Shea was gassing up his man. He was saying that he was like 6'4" or something like that. And he's like, I'm 6'5". He's like, yeah, I'm trying to make it sound cool. I'm trying to make this sound more impressive. Because Ihart was out, Chet was out, and Jalen Williams was playing center. And I watched that, and he can play center. And he's only 6'5". I don't think he is 6'5". He's listed at 6'5", but he's huge. And he's another guy that is sneaky athletic. Why do I say sneaky? Because he's like Talen Horton-Tucker. They both have hunches. Do you know what I'm saying? They both kind of have a hunch. They have or their shoulders are up all the time, which typically isn't like an athlete. Usually you think of a guy, you can think of a gym rat, guy that walks with his chest out. But both guys have sort of shoulders up like this. So if you're watching them in plain clothes, you'd probably not think of them as an athlete. But man, these guys can jump. I don't know where Talen Horton-Tucker's at. I don't know if he's still in Chicago, but Jalen Williams can jump. Also, underrated dribbler. He's got handles, man. He's like and one moves. He's got some Kyrie in him. Some Kyrie. He is not Kyrie. I'm not comparing him to Kyrie. I'm just saying, have you seen this guy dribble? 1.7 steals per game. That's somewhere in the top 10. I'm sure of it. What is he good at, though? Do I have any? I'm sure I have notes on Jalen Williams somewhere in here. But yeah, never gets beat. He just never gets beat. And it does show you that it's effort. It's effort. I remember watching, not to, bring someone into this list that doesn't belong here just to criticize them, but did you watch Mark Williams during the Laker game? You probably watched the Laker game, but it showed you if you don't have, it's a mental thing. You can have the stance, but if you're not locked in, guys are just going to get around you. If you're not locked into thinking about just being a deterrent from the rim, you're going to get cooked. And it's all about defensive buy-in. You see it with teams like OKC. You see it with teams like the Orlando Magic. Everyone's trying. And if everyone is playing, you don't see it with the Atlanta Hawks. So when Dyson Daniels is going hard out there, it sticks out. But in OKC, you think, man, all these guys are really good at defense. And I don't think that's necessarily that they're all skilled defenders. It's just that everyone there is trying and is playing, because if you're not playing hard defense, it makes all your teammates' efforts for naught. So that's why I could put a lot of guys as two-way players from OKC, but I'm really just putting the big scorers on here. That's it. So, yeah, I already talked about the hunch. I don't want to talk. I mean, whatever. I said it. So, let's talk about his scoring. What's his three-point percentage? 34. It's not crazy. I think we've talked about everything I wanted to talk about with him. He's good, but he's only 7 on the list. Evan Mobley can do everything on defense. I think he is a serious Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He's 10th in blocks. Only gets 1 steal a game. Not that I really, whatever. Pretty good steals for a power forward. Definitely the hottest offensive player for a guy that is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. And he definitely is. Now that Wemby's out, I think Mobley could get it. And he's getting 18.5 points per game. He can play like a guard. He can shoot threes. He can drive. He's like a very tall 3, but he plays the 4. And he can also play center. He can block shots. Jared Allen doesn't have to be in there. I think Evan Mobley might be an all-NBA guy. Not this year, but in the near future. 7th in contested shots. Jared Allen 6th in contested shots, if you were curious. So, he has more blocks and steals than Jared Allen. Dare I say maybe he's a better rim protector? I don't know. I don't watch every single Cavs game. I don't know. Best defensive rating on the Cavs? Jared Allen's number 2. So, Jared Allen's been an all-star, hasn't he? I know he wanted to be an all-star. I think, I forget, I don't even remember the story I was about to tell. And I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Was there anything more? I feel like I really just blew through that. Just spat everywhere. Do I have anything on him? No. Oh, it's funny that he's older and he's been in the league longer, but Evan Mobley kind of reminds me of a smaller version of Wemby a little bit. Feels weird to say that, doesn't it? Because it seems like Evan Mobley might be his older brother. They're thin. They're athletic. They got quick hands. They can dunk. They can catch lobs. They could, I don't know. Franz Wagner. Again, Suggs and Wagner are a little bit further down on this list just because they missed so much time this year. And I'm a time queen. You got to play. You got to be out there. And they did too many sit-ups. I've said that before. How do you rip your abs? You know, how do you literally tear open your ab muscles? How does that happen? Does it, you feel like beats me. So he's not a great three-point shooter. Again, something with the Magic. They need a three-point shooting coach. Of course, KCP, when he got there, he kind of turned it off. It stopped dripping, man. I haven't even thought about KCP in a long time. Has he been injured? I watch Orlando games. So 25.1 points per game. That's definitely why he's on this list. Again, I'm talking about a lot of defense just because you know about offense. But a great defender like Franz Wagner, one of the best closeout guys. If you watch him, he blocks a lot of three-point shots. Because this was my point. With contested shots, you're thinking, hey, he gets a hand up. It's a little bit distracting. It's harder to shoot with a hand in your face. It's kind of not. Because you see this with Franz Wagner. He'll actually go out, close out, and block a shot. And it makes you think, oh, I wonder if guys actually put a little more effort if they could get there. If they could get there and they could get a finger on it. Because Franz does, man. And he's 6'10". Did you know that? He's 6'10". He's huge. And you see it out there. You're like, man, he's just getting rebounds. He's like dunking over centers. He's 6'10". Is he a more confident Ben Simmons? Think about that. Is he Ben Simmons with a little bit of confidence? I don't know. Shea is... he's great at defense. Because I had Jalen Williams above him on this list. And then I was looking at the stats and I was also watching him play. And he's a better defender than Jalen Williams. And Jalen Williams is good. Again, Jalen Williams takes a far better defensive assignment. Shea always guards the worst player. Watch. He always guards the worst player, but He helps. He does help out, though. Again, another guy sort of like Dyson Daniels, where he'll poke the ball away at any point in time. And an excellent, everyone calls him a free throw merchant. Or like I don't think that's a criticism. Is it fun to watch? No, it is not fun to watch a guy shoot free throws. You don't have to, I'm not going to argue with you, but finishing through contact is a skill, and he is incredibly good at it. He's incredibly good at finishing. It's not his fault that he is getting fouled, right? Does he do the jump backwards into people? Not really. Not lately, if you're watching. People can't stop him, so they foul him. Do I have any notes on him for his defense? Fast hands, great help defense. Good at predicting. Again, another passing lane blocker. It's another effort thing. Another thing, if you don't think about, if you just jump in front of the only passing lane that's there, it takes a little bit more effort, but if you get in front of it, that's your ball now. Stay in front of the ball, that ball's yours. And Shea does it. Again, easiest assignment, so he would be higher. Anthony Davis. I'm talking so fast, my throat is tickling. Like I'm Gucci gooing my throat. Maybe I need to slow down. 2.2 blocks per game. Again, third. So this is the case for Anthony Davis. I know he's injured. I know he's not going to get any postseason awards because he's missed too much time or will miss too much time. I think they said like 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks means 7 weeks, I think, usually. And I hate to break it to you, Mavs fans. 2.2 blocks per game, third in the league, 1.3 steals per game, 33rd in the league, 25.7 points per game, 10th in the league, 12 rebounds a game, 6th in the league. Anthony Davis is really good. Granted, he does get hurt. He got hurt on his first day out there on a non-contact injury playing for the Mavs. Brutal. The worst thing, and him saying, I'm here. I think I got that. Yeah, he's right there. He's saying it on the screen. Pretty cool. But, man, then getting hurt. I'm here, and I'm gone. I'm actually on the bench. Actually, I'm getting a treatment in the locker room now. Godspeed, soldiers. They did win that game, and they just lost to the Golden State Warriors today. Here's the thing. If you're Nico, I don't think the Nico Harrison decision to trade Luka Doncic, look, it's been talked about ad nauseum, but to act like Anthony Davis is a scrub is just not correct. And I can make the case that he had been doing well. He had been playing a lot. He played over 65 games last year, and he was on pace to play over 65 games this year. So the trade does not, when you look at these numbers, the trade does not feel ridiculous to me. He is one of the strongest players in the league. He just bodies everyone. I think he's stronger than Giannis. In terms of the way he plays, back to the basket, I'd probably go Anthony Davis. I guess going, full steam head first, driving to the hoop. I guess I'll take Giannis, but you get my point. He needs to play center, though. He needs to play center. He's gotten this habit of shooting long twos, which is just foolish if you're Anthony Davis. A lot of times he'll play out at the wing and he'll end up taking it into the paint. He just needs to start down there. I hate to break it to you, but Anthony Davis, you can play 4, but you should be a 5. So, Jaren Jackson Jr., having an incredible offensive season. 22.9 points per game as a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He's going to get the Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He's going to win the candidate. He's going to get that award, I think. He's going to get it for a second time because his shooting numbers are good too. He's shooting 36% from 3, and he's shooting 5 a game. If you're a center and you're shooting 5 threes a game at 36%, over 36%, you can live with that if you're the Memphis Grizzlies. That's great. His field goal percentage, 49.5. It's good. He's getting, again, this. You can forgive the rebounds. You can forgive the rebounds based on the blocks, the 1.6 blocks a game. He's doing it. He's sort of filling 2 roles at this point. Because he's a 4. He's the 3 or a 4. I'm sorry, he can block shots, but other than being the rim protector, he does a lot of help defense. He's sort of, in terms of what he does on defense, is a better version of Zubac. But the 22.9 points per game, what's Ja get now? What's Ja's points per game? Do we even care because he doesn't play as much? So he's played 53 games this year, 29 minutes a game. He does foul a lot. Even a lot of the blocks, even a lot of the defense that he does play, he's a very aggressive defender. That was an observation I made, is, man, this guy gets away with a lot, even though he does foul out a lot of games. Did you guys hear that? There was like, oh, keep an eye on Ja this summer. Who said that? I don't even know. There was it an anonymous source? I think it was someone from in the organization. I heard someone in the organization says, you like feet. You're a big foot guy. Who said that? I can't tell you. Can't reveal my source. I think Ja's staying there. I don't think he's getting traded. That's such a crazy thing to say. I think they're both going to be there. I think Jaren Jackson Jr., though, this is his year to make an All-NBA team. Right? Third team? They're not doing it by position anymore. He could be second team, which is as high as Ja made it. This team is good. I'm excited about them. Do I think they're going to get to the finals? I can't say why not, but I can't say that I do think that. You know what I'm saying? All right. I think I had more notes on him. Jaren Jackson Jr. shoots less afraid to shoot threes. Plays on the wing. Help defender. I got it. Plays offense like Giannis lately. Giannis dribbles a lot. Giannis brings the ball up the court. Jaren Jackson Jr. is bringing the ball up the court a lot for the Memphis Grizzlies these days. So, I'm not sure what I'm really trying to say. I had to give it to Victor Wembanyama. At 24.3 points per game, 3.8 blocks, it's not even close. He's the Dyson Daniels of blocks. What the simile would be if Dyson Daniels is to steals, Victor Wembanyama is to blocks. Miles ahead of everyone. 1.1 steals a game, 55th in the league. 55th in the league. It's not bad. Upper percentile, upper 10%. 11 rebounds a game. 8th in the league. Excellent offensive player. 17th in points per game. Man, we're going to miss this guy. Another indictment on defensive rating is Victor's is high. Remember, high off defensive rating is a bad thing. That means people are scoring on you. So that is sort of an indictment on defensive rating. Again, I haven't talked about it a whole lot this video because, just like contested shots, I'm losing faith in the statistic. So top five in deflections too. He's deflecting the ball a lot. A deflection, like I've said before, if you watch the show, a deflection is a blocked assist. I think that's what I say. But yeah, he catches hard lobs. It reminds me of Derek Jones Jr. sometimes, the way he catches lobs. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Just wild stuff from Chris Paul. He can make it work. So 3-point shooting, 8. I cannot believe he's shooting 8 a game. 8.8. Why? I still don't think he should be doing that. I understand 35% is good, but get your ass down. Get your ass backed up into somebody and dunk on them. You're huge. Okay, I need a new camera. It goes to 30 minutes. It goes to 30 minutes and quits. But I think that ruined my stream of consciousness. All the notes are said, I've said everything. You need a floater. I have one more note. You need a floater to shoot on Victor Wembanyama if you're near the basket. I noticed that. You can't get a layup on him because he's too big. You actually have to have a floater. And if you're right by the basket, you can't really do a floater because you need too much arc. So he sort of just eliminates everyone's field goals that are within the restricted area. It's impossible. That was the last thing. I wish I hadn't said it because it was dumb. All right, well, thank you for being here. Be good to your mothers, eat a corn dog.